Hey guys, I hope everyone is well, and I hope that you've been enjoying my YouTube channel. Today I want to do a little bit of a more informal video, and hopefully it will be shorter. And I want to talk about the Canadian housing market today and the rising prices of homes in Canada. If you've been watching the news at all, you will, I'm sure, have seen at some point about how the housing prices have risen drastically, especially over the pandemic period, and even throughout the past 5, 6, 7 years. And you'll have seen that some experts are calling for a big crash, the bubble will burst, and others are saying that the Canadian housing market will cool off throughout the years in Canada. Now, what I want to do today is give some information, some statistics on the housing market, and I want to talk about what the federal government is doing to address the situation. In particular, I want to talk about how young adults are feeling in this housing market and what they are doing to cope with the rising rates of homes. Okay? So let me start with some statistics. There's a report from Global News from April 10th of this year, and they state the average cost of a house in Canada in 2020 and how it was 7.5 times greater than the average household earnings. Okay? And then they give some cities in Canada to compare the averages to. So in Ottawa, the average house sits at around 6 times the average local income. And in Greater Toronto area, it's around 10 times over the cost, of a house. And in Moncton is 3.5 times higher than the average local income, And this is just 2020. And then came 2021. And with it, higher prices. For example, CTV article from April 15th of this year states that the national average price of a home rose 31.6% from March 2020 to March 2021. So to put this into a dollar value for you guys, that puts the average selling cost of a home in Canada at just over $716,000. That's from March 2021. That is a lot of money for somebody to be paying. If you think about the minimum wage and how many people earn minimum wage and then the average cost of a house, that's a lot of money, for you to be paying just for a house. You have other expenses. Everyone does. What is the federal government doing in regards to this situation? There's been certainly a lot of criticism, especially from the Conservative government criticizing the Liberal Party for having the rates so high. There is an MP, his name is Pierre, and I hope I don't mess up his last name, Pierre Poilievre. Probably messed it up, sorry guys. So he's a progressive conservative MP who insists that the housing bubble will collapse if the Liberal government does not do anything about it. On his YouTube channel, he states that the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation recommends that, and this is his words on his YouTube channel, and I quote, for a home to be affordable for a family, they shouldn't have to spend more than 30% of their income on housing. According to RBC, the average right now is 50%, end of quote. So, as you can see, it's high. It's too much. People are paying too much for a house. If the average is 50%, some people are paying over that. Some people are less, but it's too much of your money to be putting into a house, in my opinion. How have the Liberals responded to this situation? I found an article from the Financial Post from April 19th of this year. They're pretty much saying that the Liberal plan to tax 1% on the value of a house of a non-resident, non-Canadian owned residential real estate. So to put this into other words for you, that is if a foreign individual owns a house in Canada and the place was regarded as vacant or underused, they will have to pay this 1% tax if the bill passes. Now, the Liberals are saying that this tax will generate over $700 million in revenue, and that they plan to spend this money on affordable housing. Do I think this plan will work? I don't know. I'm not an expert, but I do think that giving affordable housing to just a certain number of people probably won't decrease the price as a whole in Canada. Do I think people of lower income and people who need a house, should they be given the opportunity to have an affordable house? 100%. Do I think it might, decrease the house across Canada? I don't know. I probably don't think so with the research that I did. I haven't taken economics as a major in university. and I can't talk too much about this situation, but I do think that our housing situation is not looking good at all, and something needs to be done. Um, I look at how people feel during these unprecedented times in complement to my statistics that I've researched. And a lot of people are not feeling well, and a lot of people are not feeling optimistic about this housing situation. There's a Global News article from April 25th of this year. It tells the story of a couple from Venezuela who immigrated to Canada 2 years ago, and they live in Vancouver, and they have still not bought a house. They can still not afford to buy a house. And with the pandemic, the housing rates in Vancouver just increased. They've been looking at houses. They bid on some houses, and then the bidding wars start, and it goes for more, usually hundreds of thousands of dollars more than the actual cost or the asking price of a house. And now they're saying their dream and their goal seems unattainable, which is really sad to think of, especially if somebody wants to start a family and wants to have a future in Canada. You don't have to look far to realize that there's a lot of stories across Canada like the couple from Venezuela that have a hard time buying a house. And I haven't even started talking about rent prices in Canada, but that's also the same thing. Students have to rent places usually with 5 different other students to be able to live there, to be able to afford it. But in particularly now with the pandemic, you have people in their 30s or even more than that have to rent with roommates, have to go and live with their parents again because they cannot afford to live alone. And I think that really impacts the independence of someone in trying to get their life to live maybe with somebody else, or trying to start a new chapter in their life. And in fact, there's this statistics according to BNN Bloomberg, and they quote a poll from Royal Bank of Canada of this year in April. They found that 36% of non-homeowners under the age of 40 have given up on ever buying a home. Now, that's really sad if you think about it. Of course, this can change. How people feel can change in the next month, but it certainly says, gives an idea of how people are feeling now. They are not very optimistic about the housing situation. All things considered, guys, I think if you're having a hard time on ever buying a house or renting a place, I don't think we should just think that somebody will do something for us. I think that we should make our voices heard. I believe that you should, contact your MPP, or just, speak out on the housing rates and how you think it should be more affordable for people. So that's pretty much the end of the video today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any comments or any suggestions for my next videos, please let me know. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye.